the junior school, as it was then known, only went up to standard 4, and standard 5 was already at the high school, which was in School Road, opposite, on the hill opposite the Muizenberg station, which today is a police station. I went to school there, and years go past very quickly today, but in those days, standard 5 and standard 6, each year was an eternity, and waiting till the end of the school year was a big deal, because in Muizenberg, the holiday season was a terrific time of the year it was fabulous. Well, once December came, it was the greatest time of my life. And at the age of 11 or 12, when December came, I used to buy my own packet of cigarettes. And a packet of cigarettes, once you had a cigarette in your hand when you were 12 or 13, it was really, you had arrived. It's absolutely true. Many years later, and I'm going to tell you this now, many years later, not many years later, about 20 years later, I really am an anti-smoker in a very big way. I realize how seriously wrong smoking is. Believe me, whoever's watching this now, the smoking is not to encourage anybody to start smoking. I'm anti-smoking to the nth degree today. I left school at the end of 1956, 57. I had had enough, and I went to join my parents formally in business. Up till that time, I hadn't been on while I was at school, I definitely wasn't on the payroll. I was on the generosity of my parents, who were unbelievably generous to me. My dad, as much as my mother, and my mother as much as my dad, I was a very lucky young boy, not a man, yet boy. My parents doted in me. I wasn't spoiled, but they really doted on me. In 1952, the Saxons had arrived. Arrived meaning we moved over the bridge into Kensington Road. In those days, when you lived over the bridge, you had arrived. It was the same as today, living in Nettleton Road, Clifton, or something like that. That was the status of living over the bridge. And we moved over the bridge in 1952, and I had my bar mitzvah in the Muizenberg Shul in 1953 on the 26th of December, which happened to have been a public holiday on that day. So my parents could close the shop and have the bar mitzvah. And previous to that, my mother was very sick for a while, and my bar mitzvah was a very happy event. I was very accomplished on my bar mitzvah. I did exceptionally well on my bar mitzvah. I'd been going to shul regularly since I was about 8 years old. I used to go to shul regularly with a cousin who lived nearby. His name was Izzy Levinson. He took me to shul regularly, and when my father could, he used to take me. But at the beginning, it's mostly this guy, Izzy Levinson. Every December was the greatest time in Muizenberg. The beach, the people on holiday, meeting people coming down from all parts of South Africa. It was a great time, and we were getting a little bit older. We was going to the movies, but everything happened in Muizenberg. Everything happened in Muizenberg. We had the cheder, we had the school, we had the shul, we had the bioscope, we had the concerts on Sunday night, we had the beach, we had the mountain, to go up the mountain. We had everything. We had everything. We didn't need to leave Muizenberg. We were all there to embrace everybody coming to Muizenberg from all over South Africa. We made lots of friends with people from Johannesburg, firm friends over the years, and then we started meeting the girls as well. Yeah. And in about 1959, on one hot evening, 8 o'clock in the evening, we went for a walk, and we bumped into the crowd on what was then known as the snake pit, but on sort of the area overlooking the snake pit, and we met a crowd of strangers or visitors from Cape Town, and I was introduced to Evelyn. And I met Evelyn, it must have been 59, and there was a wrestling match or a boxing match further down on the lawns, and we went to the boxing match, and I thought she was very nice, and I thought she was exceptionally nice, and I said to myself, gee whiz, she's very nice. And I decided to sort of pursue her, for want of a better word. And I didn't do anything at that stage. I saw that evening, and a few days later, on a Sunday, I bumped into her on the beach, and I was sitting there in my deck chair with my white cap on. And I remember calling her like this, and she came, and we had a long chat, and this was the start of a very happy time in my life. And when we finished chatting that day, she left and she said, "When are you going to phone me?" I said, "I'll phone you on Wednesday." So when Wednesday came, I phoned her, and I still remember her telephone number. In those days, it was 31607. That was the telephone number. And we made a date, and I decided to take her to the movies. I must have been about 18, 19, and I borrowed my dad's car, and which was a 1950. It was either the Ford or the Chev. I can't remember. I think it was the Ford Fairlane. That's it. 1958 Ford Fairlane automatic. That's it. I borrowed my dad's car, and I went to take Evelyn to the movies. She's lived in Yeovil Road in Friedhoek, and we went to see a movie at the Metro, what was then called the Plaza, it was called Pal Joey, and our relationship developed from there, and eventually we got married on the 30th of June 1963.